The recently published transcripts of conversations between US President George W. Bush and Russian President Vladimir Putin demonstrate clearly that the war in Ukraine did not come out of the blue and was not an unprovoked act of Russian aggression. Instead, the war was the result of Moscow's growing alarm over NATO's three-decade-long expansion toward Russia's borders. Throughout the conversations, Putin repeatedly asks Bush why NATO continues to expand. In June 2001, Putin asks Bush why, if NATO insists on enlargement, why it doesn't invite Russia to join the alliance. Putin says, quote, "We feel left out of NATO. Why is NATO enlargement needed?" Putin then reminds Bush that back in 1954, the Soviet Union had applied to join NATO. This was a significant moment in history. In March 1952, Soviet leader Joseph Stalin sent a note to the former World War II allies proposing reunification of Germany. All occupation forces would be withdrawn, and a reunited Germany would commit to permanent neutrality. The West rejected the offer and pressed ahead with induction of a rearmed West Germany into NATO. Renowned US diplomat and historian George F. Kennan believed the offer was genuine and could have ended the Cold War. Then in 1954, the Soviet Union made another offer. If former enemy Germany could be in NATO, why not former ally Russia? This offer too was rejected. Putin didn't have to go all the way back to 1954. Ever since the dissolution of the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact, Russia has been asking why NATO continues to expand and why, if it is so eager to do so, why it cannot invite Russia to join. Boris Yeltsin proposed Russian membership in a December 1991 letter to NATO leaders. In a November 1994 letter to President Bill Clinton, Yeltsin warned that the Russian people were increasingly seeing NATO expansion as, quote, the beginning of a new split in Europe. In December 1994, Yeltsin asked Clinton, quote, "Why sow the seeds of mistrust? After all, we are no longer enemies." In May 1995, in a one-on-one conversation with Clinton, Yeltsin declared, quote, "I see nothing but humiliation for Russia. It's a new form of encirclement if the once surviving Cold War bloc expands right up to the borders of Russia." Putin also discussed NATO membership with Clinton. Clinton reportedly responded, quote, "I have no objection." Later on, Clinton told him, quote, "I've talked to my team. No, it's not possible now." Whether it was Bush or Clinton, NATO leaders showed no interest in exploring these offers of partnership. Why? Because NATO enlargement was directed toward containment and encirclement of Russia. This was obvious to George Kennan. Back in 1998, he warned, quote, "I think it's the beginning of a new Cold War." Through enlargement, NATO makes new enemies, an outcome NATO in turn uses to justify its continued existence.